live.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Chris McKean, and alongside me, we have Paul Sirk and Preston and Leanne Rowe.
Hey.
Some of you guys may notice that our main guy is not with us. Andy is feeling a little bit under the weather tonight and won't be joining us live, but I'm sure that he'll be joining and commenting throughout the podcast, probably telling us what we're doing wrong, right, Paul?
I would like to say that everybody, if you have Andy's phone number, text him.
Yeah.
Wish him well, getting well. Speedy recovery on his little cold thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, he can't take hugs right now, but he'll sure take a well wish from everybody.
Yep. So we're letting him off the hook this week. We're going to go on and Paul, thanks for filling in and helping me power through this podcast.
You'll look better. I'm sure
shorter.
A little bit. Yeah.
Got to be just a tad short.
More.
Yeah.
I can't go one on one. All right.
So we have quite the podcast tonight. We have Preston and Leanne joining us. You guys are from the XE series, right? You also have a podcast.
Can you tell me what that stands for, the AXC?
Arkansas Cross Country.
Okay,
Yeah.
super.
Yeah. And we raced with MXC2, which is Missouri Cross Country. It was a recent, within the last two seasons, it was a recent split.
Gotcha.
It's all ran by the same people, but it was kind of, they separated into two separate series so they could kind of allow more racers from, northern Missouri and Iowa and what have you come down, and then more from Texas and southern Arkansas come up and race.
Gotcha.
Without everybody kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you race with the series. Kind of, what's your background? What made you get started into racing?
Oh man. So I can remember growing up as a kid with watching, really honestly, mainly watch dirt bike related stuff with my dad. We watched motocross and supercross, but we made it a point to always follow the Baja 1000 every year. And I know it's kind of a leap from watching dirt bikes race the Baja 1000 to XC racing quads, but I just kind of fell in love with all things with an engine from a young age. And, we had a couple bikes around when I was young, and fast forward to adulthood, I don't even remember why or how or what happened, but I traded a vehicle that I had for an old dirt bike and went and tried to do an enduro. And it was an extreme, a notoriously difficult enduro, and failed. Got back on the bike again. We went to a vintage hare scramble with the ARMA series, which is that American Historical Racing Motorcycle Association.
Okay.
And I think I came in third. There was 4 of us in class, but I came in third and had a blast and was just hooked. Well, then fast forward, I don't know, a few months later, one of our nephews had a quad and he went to an AXC race. We found him on Facebook, and it was right around the time Jason Sterling was taking over AXC. And we went with him just to kind of support him. He's just a little guy. And he was 10 at the time.
Racing in the adult.
Yeah, he raced in the adult race because his quad was too big. See, we don't have the AMA rules down here. And anyway, he raced in the adult race. He did 1 lap, had an absolute blast. We had a blast. And anyway, next thing you know, Leanne's wanting to do it. So she's got a quad. And then she says, well, if I'm going to do it, you've got to do it. So I got one. And then at one point or another, we've had 3 or 4 other friends do it. And that was 2019. So here we are, 5 years later, and it's become this huge part of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more or less kind of how we got started. And then in the process, we became part of the AXC and MXC crew, just by becoming friends with the people that run the series and just being around all the time, you know, and it just kind of evolved into that basically.
Gotcha. So not only do you race, you also have a podcast, the XC
We do.
Collective.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
So
we started
what
that
made
last season, right? I think it was the beginning of last year was when we started.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's kind of a big commitment, right? You know, we found this podcast for about a year, and then we kind of just took the plunge, and you know, we're taking it week by week, just seeing what we do. It's not just, you know, showing our love for the sport and trying to give back a little bit, and
that's kind of where we were at with it.
Yeah, it's just something for us to do together.
Yeah.
So is that what's your goal with the podcast?
Man, to be honest, I don't think that we really had one. I think
starting out, it was just to kind of spread the word more about XC racing and to get more people involved in the sport.
We know a lot of people that are like, they're just this close to giving it a try, you know, but people kind of there's a lot of misconceptions about the sport. They think it's just the most expensive thing you could ever do or the most dangerous thing you could ever do, and it's neither. I mean, it can be both of those things, but it doesn't have to be either of those things, if that makes sense. And that was she's right. That was a goal of ours. And we always made it a point to stay focused on the little guys, you know, the kids, the youth racers, the everyday C and B class racers like me, the vet racers that, you know, have been doing it since the late 80s or early 90s. And, you know, we thought they deserved as much attention as the XC1 pros do.
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of like our, go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
For Leanne, you're the one that wanted to start the racing thing. You know, this is kind of it's a double question, but Preston, what'd you think of that when you,
I was excited
about it? Were you? Were you nervous about her racing?
Not really. I mean, I feel like her
competitive person, or is she just going out there to enjoy the ride?
That's kind of how she treated it, but I'll be honest with you, that's the exact opposite of what we thought was going to happen, because she is an extremely competitive person. And so, but I honestly think that like just less experience riding was the only reason why she didn't stick with it. You know, I think that because confidence is such a big part of racing, you know, like I don't mean that like arrogance confidence, but like you got to be comfortable riding. And I think that's what stopped her from.
In my history, I started off, I had never ridden. I never went over a jump that was like, you know, more than a foot high. And our first race was actually at a MX track that we spun off and on and off of. And I had a ball. But I assumed that the track was laid out in a way that I could ride it no matter what. And maybe that was a false assumption. And kind of made it through some of that stuff, but we've seen over the years we've evolved ourselves. With you were talking about the youth, what we used to do for the youth and what we do now, we would have never considered stuff that we put the kids in now. We know that they're going to be fine, and they understand that if we lay it out, they'll be fine, and we go over it, and that's kind of how things evolved. And maybe she wants to reconsider joining the racing, you know.
I think she should.
I really enjoyed whenever I did a short course race in one of the Okra and AXC, and there was a third, wasn't there?
No, it's just those two when we did the border battles.
Yeah, it was border battles, and I did a short course race, and I really enjoyed that. And then like we've done the like minis. We did that last year. So
we have pit bike races on Sunday with our dirt bikes, because AXC and MXC does dirt bikes as well. And then last year at our Halloween event in Mountain Grove, Missouri, we talked the crew into letting us put on a 50cc challenge. So she was on a little Baja 50, and I was on a Yamaha TTR 50, and that was some of the most fun we've ever had racing.
Yep. Well, I do know there happens to be a short course thing coming up at the State Fair at Iowa that Chris might tell you a little more about here coming up, that you might consider that.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it. What is this, our third year?
Yeah, I believe so.
Second week in August is when I believe it is. I'm having a member lapse at this moment, but we are fortunate enough to be invited by our state fair, and
awesome.
we go and put in a full day of some short course racing now. 3-wheelers or outlaw 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, UTVs. It's a pretty decent course. It's tight, but it's decent. I think everybody has fun with it. New this year is that the state fair, instead of charging people like the previous couple of years, it's now free admission. So as long as you have your admission ticket into the state fair, which is $11 or $13 now, you can actually come in and watch the races for free. And previous years it was $25 or so. So they're giving back, trying to get more people in there. So quite the crowd.
Awesome. It's cool to see them supporting it.
Yeah. So kind of like supporting our state fair, we also have the other big race, the Heartland Challenge, coming up. If I remember right, counting, it's 43 days. If I remember counting correctly last night, it's going to be here before we all.
69 days, and you can see a couple weeks have gotten away from me.
Yeah, so I hear that you've kind of ran with the Heartland Challenge. What was it, 21, 22, took last year off, and you have some big plans for this year, correct?
Yep, I'm going to finish the Ironman class this time.
So you're going to try the Ironman class.
Yep.
What's the?
I'm not going to try it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish it.
Because you did do it in 2021, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We had some issues, right?
Yeah, I did. I had a cam cover come loose and I lost oil, and it was enough that it took out the plastic gear in the oil pump, and so I was just done at that point. But it was 4.5 hours in 2021, and anyway, I didn't really think I'd have the opportunity or be in a position in my life to be able to do that again, because it's kind of a big undertaking. You either got to have a dedicated machine just for that, or have deeper pockets than what I've got, or both, I guess. But we're fortunate enough this year to put some things together to make it work to where we can go. And I'm on a fresh machine, and I'm in the best shape that I've been in years. And I'm just going to give it 100%. My goal, I've got a few goals, like an A goal, a B goal, and a C goal. And, A goal obviously is a podium. A B goal is, my B goal is to average a certain lap time without, saying I don't want to, bite off more than I can chew, but average a certain lap time and finish. And then C goal is just see the checkered flag, just finish. So shoot for the moon, you know what I mean?
I certainly hear you. Now you have, I kind of tidbit catch Facebook here and there, and Andy brought this up to me, but I kind of caught you probably a month or so ago that you're explaining your commitment to the Heartland Challenge, and you want to kind of go over that and are you staying on track with that commitment, and how's it going?
Yeah. Are you talking about the fitness stuff that I've been working on? Is that what you're
getting mentally and physically in shape, right?
Yeah. So the biggest thing with that is I have a really bad habit. I don't know if it's just like neurodivergence, in me or what, but I have a bad habit of not sticking to things, and it's not that I don't. It's like I love the sport and I love the idea of endurance in general, not just, four-wheeler racing, but, testing your own limits and that kind of thing. And I've always kind of been obsessed with that. But I tend to procrastinate, at times, and I tend to put things on the back burner and let things lapse. And so this year I just made it a point to, usually I don't make everything that I do public, but this year I kind of wanted to do that with my training so that friends and family could kind of hold me accountable. And so far it's been working. Leanne is working on getting herself in better shape. And so us working together has been huge. And then having people check in to say, hey, I saw you were doing this, or I saw you were running, or, this, that, or the other, I'm rambling, that's just the way my brain works, but it seems to be working, like basically putting it out there. It's a vulnerability thing. I put it out there and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I need your help. I need your support to keep me motivated. And so far it's working. I mean, it's not me going up there to just race a 4-wheeler for 10 hours in your series. It's the whole crew of people that are coming to all support each other. And it's all the friends and family, and my mother-in-law watching our kids so that we can, make sure we meet our, cardio requirements for the week. Or, excuse me. I mean, I hope that makes sense, but
it does.
It's going great, but it's not just me. It's so many people, that are coming together to make it all possible.
Yeah, and you mentioned a big word there. You mentioned team. Whether it's an Ironman or you have a team of 3 or team of 2, it's all about the team. Ironman, it's not only yourself. You got your pit crew back there that's doing what they have to do to keep you hydrated, keep the fluids in you, get you the food that you need, so you can keep going on and pushing through, and also cheering you up and letting you know how you're doing. So it's all a team, no matter if you're racing or you're not. And that's kind of one of the exciting things about the Heartland, is that it's all about the team, and it's good to see that.
Yeah, you're going to rely on them, and I've been around it a long time. I have not raced it. I think I'm more needed on the track than racing the Heartland itself.
Me too, Paul. Me too.
But yep, Chris and I we're sitting there. Otherwise, we'd team up, and you guys all better look out. Just saying, well, I don't know. We could do a 40+ class, couldn't we, Chris?
No, don't lie.
Go for it.
Well, you're not 50, are you?
No.
He's just a baby. I forget how young everybody is. It's kind of cool hanging out with all the young people like I do.
They keep you young.
Yeah, it does. But I would say rely on your team. Listen to your team. I've seen a lot of the Ironman people and the good teams that convince their rider to stop once in a while, eat a little bit, re-nourish, get off the machine, relax, walk around, stretch your legs, cool off a bit, that kind of thing. They have more success than the people that just keep going. But I would say that's a big thing, being in shape, and keep listening to your team, because sometimes some guys get a little delirious, and what's kind of cool is they'll look out for other guys that are riding with them. I think that class is kind of looking out for each other too. It's not just competition, but take care of each other that way, and hopefully wish you the best out there, and we're looking forward to seeing you run that, and encourage some other people to come up with you on those other teams. I think it is really.
I just heard we're just going to talk about that. They're part of the AXC crew, and how many teams are you guys got currently? Because I hear you're getting your own little.
We know of one. Besides 2 of us that are doing Ironman, we've got 2 Ironman teams. We've got 150 stock team that I know of for sure. We've got a C-class team. Who else was on your list there? I know there's going to be, I don't remember the class name, but it's 3 early to mid-teens on 250s. I don't remember what their class is, but I know that they're coming. Who else do you have there? I think that is it. I know Brent was going to be there, but I don't know if he's there for support or if he's planning to race it. And he may Ironman it. I don't know for sure yet. And we've had other people ask about it too. So
I don't
Yeah,
know
we're
why
yeah.
some of them are going, but I don't know.
I don't know who all out of their bunches
are racing. Yeah. I know that we've got a few that are going just for support.
Yeah.
I think Brent Rashears, I don't know if he's racing. Mason and Brittany and Barber, which they do. She does photography for AXC and MXC now, and they're going just for support, I think.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, big team coming from AXC, MXC. So it'd be interesting kind of see how they do. Maybe we put a little challenge out there. Iowa versus the world. See how we do.
Yeah, there you go.
So as we kind of wrap things up, is there anybody that you guys want to thank or plug one more time your podcast?
So if you want to check out our podcast, you can find it on Facebook. We're in the process of adding to YouTube. We just started using the same software that you guys use.
Yep.
Prior to that, we didn't really have video with the exception of one live stream that we did. But if anybody wants to check that out, it's just XC Collective, as in Cross Country Collective. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found. We have one sponsor for our podcast, and that is Zero Limits Designs. And you can use the discount code XC Collective, all capital letters, at checkout to save 15%. They're a riding gear and casual wear company based out of Arkansas. Fantastic to deal with. They can do custom gear sets. They can design with you. I hate to, take over your show with that, but they're fantastic. And so we appreciate them. And I just wanted to make sure that if they catch this, they know that how much we appreciate them. And as far as our effort, for coming up there to race next month, just all of our friends and family, Western Rainwater with DRW Performance, Toomey PC Repair, Harmon Extreme Clean, Alba Racing. Garrett with Alba has been huge for us this year, and really, really, he's helped us for several years, but this year he's really helped a lot. And yeah, I know there's several more. Steve Mueller with Tire Spine. Man, I don't know. It just there's so many, and I hate to not list them all, but I don't want to spend all night on your show list them all. But just know that we've got a huge slew of support, and it's overwhelming sometimes. When you really sit back and think about how much help you really get. How much help we've gotten, and so. We appreciate the opportunity to come on your show and the opportunity to give them a shout out too. So.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you guys for coming on and the circumstance, Andy wasn't able to make it the show tonight, but we still made it happen. So we'll see you guys at the end of the month here, or actually at the end of next month.
Let's
I know. I got Cahokia on my mind.
2 more tracks to do, and yeah.
So well, thank you guys for joining us. Good luck, and if nothing else, we'll see you at the end of July.
Look forward to meeting you there.
Awesome, sounds great. We'll see you there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, it was nice to talk to them, Chris.
Yeah, it's kind of good to branch out. We kind of did hear that AXC was going to be a big group that was going to join the Heartland this year. So it was nice to have another couple on that does the podcast.
Yeah, and it's a great reminder that we are a big family throughout the Midwest and beyond that. Just all cross country racing here.
It's such a small world, but it's not. Like they mentioned, Tire Spine. We all are interconnected somehow, one another. They also
he was on last week. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, he was on the last podcast. Yep. Yeah. They also mentioned sponsor DRW. They also sponsor our series. So there's a lot of interconnection between all of us, and it's all for the sport. So if we can help out another podcast and get them a few viewers, maybe they'll kick it back and give us a few viewers. And
sure. Yep.
But Well, we have two
What do
other
you got
guests from
coming on. What's going on next, Chris?
Well, we have a couple more Missouri guys coming up that are close to Cahokia. We have
All
Dylan
right.
Howard's going to join us in Tyrel, so let me go ahead and get them on here.
Okay.
How's it going?
Good.
You hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Yep, we can hear you all right, Dylan.
Good deal.
Gentlemen,
All right.
And Tyrel, we can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Oh no.
great.
Oh, and maybe that's for the best. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It probably is.
There he
we
is.
go. All right.
It is hailing crazy right here right now.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
I briefly got the.
yeah.
I watched.
So Dylan, are you?
Yeah.
Dylan, are you
there
still
was
without power?
Yeah, I'm still without power. I had to run uptown and use my cell phone where I had good signal at.
So
Oh,
we
and
apologize.
It looks like you're in a car or something there
Yep.
too. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank you guys for taking the time. I know that your area just got hit with a pretty nasty storm, right? Dylan, you got some damage out in the yard. Tyrel,
yeah.
did you get anything?
Nothing crazy severe yet, but I can hear it. It's beating on the roof pretty hard, so we'll see what it looks like after this.
Oh,
You guys you're down by the Cahokia area, the both of you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That track's not 10 miles from my house. If that, 8 maybe.
Yeah, I'm about 30 minutes away.
Okay.
gotcha.
Well, you didn't go cover the track and keep it dry in case we need to go work on it this week.
Well,
what good's a dry track this year? Like, everybody's used to riding the mud. Like, why change it up now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mud was good last race.
Yeah. It was kind of nice, wasn't it? It's an equalizer, that mud, somewhere along the line.
Mm-hmm.
Who came on? Dylan came on first. So Dylan, give us a little background on yourself.
Well, I mean, what do you mean, like the whole race, like when I started racing? What made
Yeah, a little background that way.
I mean, I grew up riding four-wheelers and stuff with my dad, and dirt bikes, four-wheelers. I think my first cross-country race, I think I started in 2008 on a clapped-out 300EX. I got 2 races on it, and I said it's time to change, and we got my 450, which I still actually have my original that we bought in 2009. I started the OXC, Ozark Cross Country Series in Southern Missouri.
Yep.
Me and 5 of my buddies from here around Northeast Missouri. And then we did that for 2 or 3 years. And then my dad, he's like, "Oh, why don't you come up race this Iowa series?" I found out what real dirt was like instead of rocks and clay. And I preferred that a little bit more. And then OXC shut down. We did some OMA nationals in between there. And then the MOC, Missouri Off-Road Championship, we did that for a while in between. And then been racing Iowa series ever since. I think I've hit every Heartland challenge except for maybe 2 since 2011, I believe.
Okay.
Gotcha. And Tyrel, what about you? What's your kind of history?
I started racing dirt bikes, I think, in 98, racing 80s. And I started racing four-wheelers, I think, in 03. Did a lot of supercross, motocross stuff, and then I've done some flat track, done some ice racing, dirt bikes and four-wheelers, rode pit bikes on the ice. I've rode, what are them things called? Speedway bikes, which is like a glorified mountain bike with a 90 horsepower Rotax motor on it. It's the scariest thing on the face of the earth. And then when I met Dylan probably 2013-ish, something like that.
Something like that.
I had small kids and life was kind of crazy at that time. And he just hounded me religiously, like twice a month, about racing this Iowa series. And I was kind of over it. And I was like, no. And he finally, 2021 in the wintertime, I was finally like, fine. If I can find an R, if I can go back to racing a 2-stroke, I'll come on. And I made one phone call And my buddy's like, I got an R for you. So 2 weeks before Stockton 2022, I packed a 250R out of an attic in a building and put it together 2 weeks before the race. Like I was tuning my carburetor in the trailer the night before the first race in 2022. So
yeah, he called me and he's like, "What screwdriver you got?"
it was a rough
Oh,
day.
so
Are we still on the R? You are. You are,
Yes.
correct? Too many
So
R's
far,
in my mouth.
Fort
Yeah.
Dodge was a little tough on it. It definitely took some life out of it.
Yeah.
I've got actually come up with a 05 450 that's on the bench right now as kind of a backup. So I hope I don't have to get it out this year, but I have a feeling that I'm probably going to have to race it at some point this year. But we're going to run the 2-stroke as long as we can.
gotcha. Speaking of that 2-stroke, you got your first win this year, didn't you?
Yes,
Tyrel?
I did. That in all the racing I've done, I've found success doing a little bit of everything, but the XC thing was just always really hard on me. It was just very difficult for me, and I think till last year when I podiumed, I think first or second race, I hadn't got a podium since 2009. Like it had been that long. So to finally get one 20 years in was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
At a race site, there's absolutely no reason I should have won that race. Like I was hungover, it was muddy, I was on a 2-stroke, like it was a long day.
Well, everything lined up for you.
It does once in a while. How about Dylan? Dylan, what class and stuff are you racing in now?
I'm in my second year of 30 plus.
Okay.
And you've gotten some podium finishes, haven't you, this year?
Yeah, I won Fort Dodge. I got third, I believe, at the first round. And then I think last year I podiumed every race except for Stockton.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
So, Dylan, this year, kind of, we've seen you with the addition of your kids. I know at the beginning of the year, we were trying to convince your wife maybe she should race as well. How's that kind of going with the family? Everybody's still enjoying it?
Oh, the boys, they had it up to them. They'd be riding 3 to 4 hours every night. I got my 7-year-old. He's in 50 limited for his second, third full year. And my youngest just turned 4. So we're hoping that Cahokia first race. So might have 2 of them trailing me around.
Wow. What's the wife think of that?
Probably more scared than anything. He had no fear of anything.
Good.
As a parent now, and Chris and I have both been in that position where we've had some race experience, and it's different when you're out there, you're in control of your machine and stuff. But when you cut the kids loose, especially like at 4, because I remember doing that too, and I still wonder why I did that. But we made it through, But what do you think of that? Or is there a lot more nerves watching the kids?
I mean, I know my oldest boy's first race is probably the most emotional I've ever been racing. Just being scared and excited for him and just being happy about it. But you're worried, you're stressed. I know I took off running at one point because his first race was Mount Pleasant, I believe. And I actually took off running down the track because he hadn't been through yet. So I took off backwards down the track until I found him. He was just cruising along. I think Brad was following him around. And he says he's doing great. He's just out for a cruise.
Yep.
Now I got to do it all over again.
Just you can't keep up to them. I'm just going to tell you that. Old man experience. You cannot run behind those kids and last.
Well, luckily I know a redheaded guy that has an extra 90 that's going to let me borrow it to follow the 4-year-old.
There we go. Yep.
I got you.
Yep. And if you want to save yourself some energy for the race, Send him out with the 90. I'm just because he'll come across a lot more than just your kid stuck, and we can always use the help. I've always, we don't anymore, but we used to always parade lap the kids. And oh man, that was I do not miss that, but at the same time, I really loved that. You see the whole gamut of emotions right there when you were talking about emotional with your kids. It's just you would see that on the kids. There would be the whole gamut of that, and I still think that's one of the best things we got going is the kids. And the numbers we got are so awesome to see that we've got the youth there. Even if not everybody's going to be able to race an old 250R because they're still around. You can find the parts, but it's great to see that you're bringing the kids and you got 2 generations going on there. That is awesome. So tell me, guys, are both of you tied in, or both of you know Thad and stuff like that since you're in that area?
I was actually the ring bearer at Thad's wedding.
Oh goodness.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, I've known Thad since I was very, very little. His whole family. They're really good people.
Yep.
Good. So you guys both excited since it's like practically in your backyard, Cahokia race?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Do you feel more pressure to perform and have good success with people around you that you know?
I do.
Or am
really
I just
bad.
on that false pressure having a little fun here?
No, I when I heard it was coming to town, I was like, damn, like now I have to do, like I'll probably blow up at this race, just put the pressure on myself. But
that's
I
easier than
I really want to do good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather blow the quad up than hurt myself, especially at 38 years old. I don't really bounce anymore. It's more of a splat. So yeah.
I hear you there. What are your thoughts, Dylan?
I don't see any really extra pressure. I mean, my dad actually lives in Mount Pleasant, and I've been racing Mount Pleasant forever. Then we used to race the OMA Nationals in Newark, which is about 15 minutes south of me. Actually, not even that, probably 10 minutes south of my house. So I've had quite, I would call local races, but like I've been racing with Tyrel and Cody and Carter Christensen, their kids, their wives, my family. I mean, we're always in one big group at every race, so it's really shouldn't be any. Or to me, there's no extra real pressure on it. It's just nice not to have to drive 4 hours.
The drive home's a lot nicer, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's reversed because now we have to drive 4 hours.
Yeah, it's not quite that. But
it's like 3.5 maybe. I think it was what it is.
Yeah, I've been down there for last couple weekends, kind of working on trying to set up the track a little bit, and it just seems like it takes longer than it should. You kind of got to wind around and twist around, and that's kind of fun. But how do you think Thad's going to do? I know he's coming on next week. Let's make some predictions on him there.
Do we know he's racing?
Is he ready? Now, who helps him wrench a little bit once in a while? Does either of you help him out mechanically or talk to him on his quad and stuff?
I built his quad.
Yeah. Okay, you're the one that built his quad
4 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
That'll throw down his first couple laps. He'll be right up there. Interesting on that. If ask him how he used to do racing in the 80s.
Okay.
He's got a pretty good result at the Blackwater. I think in 87 or 88. So.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
He was no slouch at one time. That's for sure.
Well, and he's getting up there in the years. We'll say that. Not that him and I aren't about the same age right there, but no, I get a kick out of that because I've raced with Thad the last whenever he's at the Iowa series, and he's very good. He gets a really good start. He does.
Mm-hmm.
You built a machine that really starts well.
I had a little help with that. I had a little help with the starting part of it.
Yeah.
I'm not so good with electric start. It's just weird to me. I want to kick it.
Yeah. When you get older, you can't kick because your knee hurts too much. I'm just saying.
It's got to start 2 kicks. I don't have 3. It's got to start 2. The third kick's bad. It's got to start 2.
So,
since you guys,
yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, you go ahead, Paul. I'll let you have the stage.
We are you guys thinking of the Heartland and stuff like that coming up here?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think my team's already signed up, I think.
So, all right. Okay. So, starting with Dylan. Dylan, you and I talked a little bit ago. What's your team? Who's on your team? What class?
I think me, Cody Christensen, and Carter Christensen will be lining up in A for the 3rd year, I believe.
Gotcha.
I think we've been on each other's team probably 7 or 8 different times, if not more. So
now are you going to let your oldest at least race as well, or are you kind of still debating that?
I'm not sure if he is yet or not. I know my 4-year-old would be mad if I took Big Brother up with me and didn't bring him. So we might wait 1 more year, then they can race together in the 50 limited class.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. It's pretty neat to have your boys racing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That way.
Yeah, I think Paul and I both have had that. So our both of our boys are close in age, and his boys got to race together, and my boys, we always stuck with the 90 stock, so they got to race together, and that's probably the most memorable is racing together and having them work as the team.
Oh yeah.
So Tyrel, who's going to be on your team this year?
Taylor DeHaan, Nick Bergman, and myself in the plus 26.
Plus 26. All right.
It goes better than it did last year.
Maybe we'll get that full 10 hours then as well.
Yeah, hopefully. I think there was only 2 or 3 guys left on the track when I got off. And I didn't even get my helmet off under the tent, and it dumped. I was like, oh, okay, good call.
Yeah. Yep. We won't ever regret that call.
I think we was the exact opposite. We was in the lead for most of the time, and then I had a mishap in the Heartland Challenge, and we ended up like 6 minutes behind, and we were slowly gaining our way back up. And when we saw that the rain was coming, we're like, all right, this might play in our advantage. Let the terrain change and let our overall experience take over. But then they called it, so we ended up getting second last year.
Well, if you're mad, Dylan, point that towards Andy. Tyrel, if you're happy about that, I'll take your compliment. Because looking at that radar and what we saw coming, we are very happy that we called that race.
Those are tough.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'll throw it out from years past. Imagine sweeping that track.
Oh man.
That's a pretty lonely, dark thing going out, just making sure that you don't have some lost soul out there. And in the past, I've actually found people that were broke down out and that kind of stuff. And
yeah, if you want a story at the next race, ask Brock. Brock was our sweeper, and he'll tell you it wasn't fun.
No,
I can imagine. We was sitting underneath the tent, letting it pour down rain, watching you guys drive by while we was drinking beer. So we felt really bad for you.
Yeah. Hey, we don't drink beer in our pit. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah,
there's no beer drinking in our pit.
The race was over. It was all good. It was all good. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So kind of a question here. You guys are both kind of newer, right? In the last couple of years with the series, you kind of see that what we're all about, all about family. What's your kind of take or your initial thoughts on what our series is about?
Go ahead,
I can kind of sum it up a little bit. I mean, I've been with the series for a while. I know, well, just recently with the family and stuff, last few years, doing full seasons. I can kind of explain it to where we'll go to the Iowa series. I mean, I'm not locking up my generator. I'm not locking up anything. I can leave my tools out. But we go to GNCC or something like that, you got to lock everything up. I mean, we go to the Iowa series, trust everybody pretty much, and everybody's respectful.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows everybody. Everybody's willing to help everybody. I mean, I've swapped tires out, borrowed tires from people in the middle of Heartland before. And I mean, I know people are making phone calls trying to get parts and stuff delivered before races, and everybody's willing to help everybody. And it's a lot more family atmosphere than some of the bigger stuff.
Well, Chris and I'll speak for all the other guys and gals that work on the series. We appreciate that, and that's what we strive for there. We were lucky enough to let our kids go up through it, and you're hopefully going that way with your kids too. You don't have to worry about your kids.
No, they run wild.
There's other people there, and and when the kids show up to the track, I mean, they're all my kids. I look at it that way. I build their track, and if they're doing something wrong, I'll straighten them out too. And they're all respectful kids, and they're great kids, and they're going to be great adults. And we want everybody to feel welcome and not worry about locking up your stuff and things like that. That's what it's about. We want to socialize after the race and enjoy each other. And if that couldn't happen, I wouldn't be doing this.
Nope.
But we're glad that you guys are coming in and coming to the races, and we enjoy having everybody there. Even guys with the 2-strokes, even I don't know if I gotta ask you there. You put some smell good in there.
Some smell good.
Or because Chris and I were old enough that there was a lot of 2-strokes back in those days, and you could tell who was running the good smelling stuff, not just the good race fuel.
My pre-race ritual is to always right hand over the exhaust for engine temp, but it's always a little rich when I first fire it up, and then you just take that and you just rub it in the beard. You get the smell the whole time, and that helps a bunch.
It kind of gets you. It's like taking a breathing pill, sort of. Or
it's like
motivation
the
pill, or
thing.
Yeah. There's other ways, but we don't go there. But yes.
So I didn't want to cut you off, Tyrel, but kind of what are your thoughts with the series? Kind of like
same as what Dylan said. When I in 12, 13, when I was kind of what I would say over racing, it was to the point where I wasn't having fun at the races anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of felt like a chore. Like, I didn't want to wash my machine. I didn't want to load. I just didn't want to deal with it. And once I finally come to Iowa, and everybody's just like Dylan said, you leave everything unlocked. You don't have to worry about nothing. There's ornery ass kids running around everywhere, but they're same thing. They're all my kids. They're just somebody else's kids. I don't like racing. When I race dirt bikes full time, dirt bike guys will beat you in the pits. Like, if you're broke down, the percentage of people that will help you in the pit is significantly smaller than ATV guys kind of as a whole. But the Iowa guys want to beat you on the track, and that's the way I operate. I will help you fix all your stuff, and they will help you fix everything also. And I like that about it. And like Dylan said, I don't like riding Southern Missouri like at all in the rock. I like the good dirt. And just I don't think there's one thing I dislike about the Iowa series. I mean, I really don't.
Well, that's good.
I mean, I like the camaraderie and just the, everybody just is really cool people and good people.
Yeah. You kind of like notice that, like, I can say that I was probably burnt out the last few years, and kind of like after doing this for nearly 20 years, doing all the scoring and everything else, I was totally burnt out. And we tried the AXCC adventure. That just took a toll on me personally, but I kind of feel that the same way the last year, kind of feeling back into it. Everything feels like we're all having fun and a better time on and off the track. And a lot of that has to do with you guys. So we all, behind the scenes work our tails off doing either working on the track like Andy and Paul have done, and Big Joe's been down to Cahokia, or registration, or what I do behind the scenes, scoring and everything else. But it's ultimately you guys make it or break it. And if we hear the complaints and negatively, it doesn't make us really want to go to the track. But I just feel like everybody's kind of in an upbeat mood lately. We all joke around. I think this year, a lot of insights. The Georges, I throw them out, but God, they're very helpful. Anything you need, especially Fort Dodge area. Just kind of those families and those groups. I think it's making it more enjoyable. I mean, we still have our moments. We have some scoring issues this year, but it's all about the family. And I think that the happier we all are, the better for all of us. So thank you guys.
100%.
And
I'm having so much more fun at the races again than I had. I'm having fun at the races like I had right out of high school, my early teens.
Yeah.
My late teens, early 20s. It's fun again. And I love it.
I'm with you there on the prepping though thing and washing and all that kind of stuff. After 20 years plus straight, I was honestly, when Chris called and said that Andy's under the weather, I was actually finally working on my quad. So it's been running and it's all good, but doing some other things, I'm like, shoot, we got to work on the track a few more times. And, like I've been putting it off. But once I get to the races, I still enjoy the race and I love the people. It's a new track. I'll throw it out there.
Don't spoil anything.
It's work. It's kind of, the last few years we went to Murray too many times, and but it's easier on the track worker. I'll just say that.
And that's like something we can highlight. There's some. We'll get there. We'll have it ready. It'll be ready to go. Yeah. And I think we're probably going to discuss that with Thad maybe a little more next week, you guys. And we got some pictures of you sent me of kind of the bridges. We're kind of share some of that. Some cool stuff. So, and if you guys go back this weekend, I'm sure we'll get some more, and we'll keep pushing that information out. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. I know it's a lot of work. Nobody understands how many man hours it takes to go and build the tracks, even like a Murray track.
I'm kind of curious myself. I'll be honest. How many it is?
Yeah,
we're not sure yet. We'll get her figured out though. But and Tyrel and Dyllon, if you're bored next weekend, give Andy a call. Let him know where you're at. Bring some pruners along, and we could put everybody to work too. But
I think we'll both be in Cahokia. Tyrel's actually putting in a cam chain.
More than likely.
There we go.
Yeah, more than likely.
We'll load the big reds, and we'll be right
there.
Out.
We go. There we go. Yeah,
that's the kind of class we need.
Yes.
No, we don't. No 3-wheeler class. No.
We'll save that for the state fair race if you guys want to join the Outlaws 3-wheelers.
Yeah.
That would be even worse. That would be terrible.
put your go-kart tires on there and bring her on up, I guess.
Man.
Isn't that kind of how they are?
That thing would run about, that big red would run about 3.5 miles an hour with go-kart tires on them. It'd be horrible. And Dylan, your forks don't even work, do they?
Well, they work. They bounce quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
There's about 5 inches of suspension travel, and you max it out within a half a second.
Yeah. Yep.
That was another idea of ours that looked better on paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now my wife drives it more than anybody.
No,
it's all right.
It's nothing like talking to a couple Honda guys. I feel right at home tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I had one.
Sorry, Paul. You're kind of.
I don't like the three-wheelers that have a clutch. Some things scare me. Like the shaft drive stuff and the older, like the hardtail stuff.
Yeah,
it's fun-ish most of the time.
Yeah.
The big reds are fun because we got 27s on them, and if you can keep it underneath you, it'll go there. They're good fun.
Yep.
So, you guys both race Hondas. Any other sponsors or anything you guys want to like throw out there and thank before we wrap up here? Got like 4 minutes left because I'm on a tight 1 hour schedule here lately.
So go ahead, Dylan.
Oh man, I got me and my wife, my kids, my mother-in-law helps him out a lot. I got Tyrel to thank for helping me with all my motor work and stuff. GBC tires, Quad Tech, Alba Racing, ASB levers. There's a whole bunch of them. I mean, I can barely even think of all of them. ARS Effects, PRM. Who else? There's a whole pile of them. I wouldn't be racing if I didn't have the help from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrel, how about you?
EB Suspension in Burlington, Iowa. He's a race tech guy. He's been doing my suspension for years and got it just dialed. AOT, I picked them up this year, and Hilltop Power Sports. But my biggest thanks, the biggest thanks goes to family for letting me do it. But Honda's number one for building the best sport four-wheeler ever made.
Nice. So, well, thank you guys for joining us. I know that wasn't the opportune time with the storms down in your guys' area. Yeah. As we can see some lightning strikes. It looks like we're getting you guys are about ready to get hit again, right, Dylan?
It's getting dark here. One last thing before you go. I just want to remind you guys and everybody else, go ahead and text Andy, tell him to get well. And I think with that, Chris, we better let these guys get to where they're in a safe spot. And if you're good at your house, run out there and cover up that track, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good job, Chris.
Well, thanks for coming on, Paul. I know it was short notice tonight. Really debated whether or not to have the podcast tonight. So thank you guys for whoever's still live with us listening in. Everybody knows it's not my thing. Andy's the talker. I'll do the technical IT stuff behind the scenes, but we did it. Can't say that Andy's losing his job. Andy, you are requested back next week. We need you to give us a rundown of what Cahokia's like.
Yeah. Yep. We wish him a speedy recovery in this little bout, and hopefully he'll have some good updates for you. Yeah. And
because we'll also have Thad Trump, like I mentioned earlier, kind of join us as well. The landowner of Cahokia property will be racing on. We'll do a big highlight of what parking's going to look like because they had to put in a culvert. I saw a culvert going in. We've got a couple crossings. I've seen the trailer bridge going in, and a couple other bridges. So there's been lots of work down there to get the land ready for us.
And then they've been great to deal with. Thad's been more than willing to do anything we needed to get this going. And as a racer, I think he appreciates it. And then as other racers, you should appreciate him too. It's nice to have these new places and places to go race. And we got to remember to thank him dearly for having us.
Yep. And we got to thank our guest tonight, Preston Rowe and his wife, Tyler and Dyllon. Those guys taking time out of their evening. I know that Preston and Leanne were in Disney, so I forgot to even thank them while they're on the podcast. They were joining us live from Orlando. So we thank them for joining and hopping on tonight, taking a little bit of time, family time away from them. But also Dyllon and Tyrel as well, because I even forgot to mention Tyrel. Didn't even get to question him, but Tyrel's sponsoring the Heartland, not Heartland, the Whole Shot Challenge at the end of the year at Murray Race. I totally forgot Tyrel. I apologize. It was on my list here. Forgot to get to that, but yeah, he's putting up $750 towards the Whole Shot Challenge. So,
you know who's qualified for that this year?
Not once, but twice.
Just since we're having a little fun, that's probably my last one since Thad's going to be back to this race. Just got one little thing. We're talking about previews and stuff. Just a little sneak preview what might be coming for the next race here. With that,
danger, caution.
Sign off.
All right, we'll have to kind of figure out where that sign's going for the next race. But all right, well, Paul, thanks for joining us, helping me keep this to an hour.
Yep.
All right,
we'll catch up to you later on.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.